think that saving money is the way to get wealthy and feel financially secure, I have news for you. It's not. Saving alone by itself is never going to get you financial freedom. I think that it is a strong start, but you can't just stop there. A lot of people think that being a good saver is enough, but here's how I want you to reframe. Saving money is only part of the picture. It's a good part of the picture. It's better than not saving, but you need to know that if you want to build wealth and actually feel financially secure, wealth is going to require saving as well as investing and making financial moves strategically. And unfortunately, most people aren't even good savers. Bankrate reports that fewer than half of Americans have enough emergency savings to cover 3 months worth of expenses. Only 46% of US adults have that cushion. Another 30% have some savings, but not enough, and 24% of people have no emergency savings at all. Now here's the thing. If you have ever struggled with this, you are not alone. But that's why I'm here, and I want to talk to you about how you can actually achieve financial security. For those new here, hello, I'm Lissa. I am a personal finance expert and a certified financial planner. I teach personal finance in a way that I hope is accessible and free from shame, free from guilt, and free from gatekeeping. So if you have ever wondered why you save and save money, but you still don't feel financially secure, or if you feel like nothing ever changes in your financial life, then you are in the right place. Let's talk about the limitations of saving. Now let's be real. I've said it over and over again. Saving is indeed important. It is a great skill to have because it's a skill that tells me you are thinking about the future. You're not just earning money today and having it go out of your wallet tomorrow. But the reason saving alone is not enough is, number one, it's limited. You can only save as much as you earn. If you make $50,000, you can't save $100,000. Number two, emergencies can drain your savings. If you've ever lost your job, if you ever had a big medical bill, if you've ever had multiple crises at the same time, it can wipe out everything you've worked so hard to save and stash away. Number three, inflation eats at your savings. Even if you are saving money, if your money is saved in a standard savings account, it's typically losing value every year due to inflation. If any of you have ever taken an introductory economics course, you might remember the concept of the time value of money. $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. The time that you hold the money has value to it. That's why just stacking cash and saving money is never going to get you to financial freedom. What you need to do is take advantage of the time value of money and invest your money so that it can grow. So let's go through an example. I want you to meet Bill. Let's say that Bill takes home $50,000 a year after taxes. That means $50,000 is his take-home pay over the course of the year. Now let's say he manages to live on $40,000 of that, which means he's able to save $10,000 a year. That sounds great, right? If you're able to save $10,000 a year. But another way to look at this is Bill needs 4 years to save 1 year's worth of expenses. We said his expenses were $40,000 a year. If he saves $10,000 a year, that would take 4 years to save up a year's worth of expenses. So if he wanted to save up 10 years worth of living expenses, that'd be 40 years of saving that same $10,000 a year. Now, this is just an example, right? We're not even talking about inflation, emergencies, surprise expenses. So for Bill, if he saves money very consistently for 40 years, he will have enough money to fund 10 years of living without having to work. Now, even if Bill doubled his savings, that means he would have 20 years-ish of expenses after working for decades. But if your only plan towards financial security is saving as much money as you can, it's rarely gonna be enough. You have to think about, what about rising costs? Inflation is going to make everything cost more by the time you end up wanting to retire. Another thing to think about is, what if Bill couldn't work for 40 years straight? What if some illness or injury prevented him from working those years and he wasn't able to earn money? And maybe on top of that, an illness or injury makes it so that he has to spend more money. And then, as we know, typically as people age, people have more medical expenses. And the thing that our current financial system in the US is not thinking about is that people are living longer. Life expectancy in the United States has increased about 10 years over the past 50 years, which means people either have to work longer or find other ways to fund a longer retirement. Money to fund their lives when they can either no longer work or choose not to work. So I hope you can start to see the problem that saving money, stashing a lot of money, it's a good skill and it can keep you afloat, save you from emergencies, but it's hardly ever going to move you forward to reach financial security. At some point, you are going to need other forms of cash flow besides your job. Otherwise, you're always going to be one layoff or one medical bill away from a financial crisis. What you need to do is shift your beliefs. So if saving alone doesn't work, you're probably asking,
what does?
In my opinion, it's as simple as organizing how you think about money based on when you're going to need that money. Meaning, I want you to start thinking in time horizons. What I mean is, think about the money that you make. What is that money going to be used for? But more importantly, when? For example, current needs. For your current day-to-day spending, you need money for bills, for groceries, for living your life on a day-to-day basis. And then you have short-term needs, right? Maybe money that you don't need on a day-to-day basis, but you do need to save and set aside. Things like your emergency fund or a vacation you have coming up in a few months, or even something a year or two away. Maybe you want to save up for a new car or for a big move into a new apartment. Then you have your medium and long-term goals, money you'll need later on in the future. Sometimes we're talking like way in the future, retirement. But sometimes this could be 5, 10, 15 years from now. Things that you might know you want, maybe buying a house or starting a business, or maybe it's for building general wealth so that later on in the future, if you decide you want something, you'll have the money for it. So the shift I want you to start using, rather than let me just save as much money as I can so that I can get this or that. Yes, I want you to ask, how much can I save on a regular basis? But I also want you to ask yourself, what am I saving for and when will I need it? This makes your money have purpose instead of just being stashed up to hopefully make you feel confident and secure at some point. Now, spoiler alert, I kind of alluded to it earlier in the video, but basically, once you start thinking about your money in terms of when you're gonna need it and when you wanna use it in the future, it's gonna help you start organizing where you put it and what you do with it. Is it money you save in a savings account because you need it there for emergencies? Or is it money you don't need for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, so you can possibly invest it so that it can actually grow over time and outpace inflation? Having a plan and thinking about money in this way is going to be your path towards making the right decisions towards financial security. Now, I want to talk about the feeling of financial security, because to me, wealth has two parts. If you've watched other videos of mine or if you've taken my e-course, you will know the concept of big wealth energy. I believe big wealth energy is something that you can have, something you can build, but it has two parts to it. Part one is the practical side. The saving, the investing, the money management strategies, the things you do with your actual money, the decisions you make with your finances. Part two is the emotional side. This is actually feeling confident in your financial decisions, feeling secure with the money that you do have. And if you don't have a lot of money right now, feeling secure in your plan towards making more, earning more, saving more, investing more. Now, personally, as a financial counselor, I have seen a lot of clients and even people in my personal life, friends and family, who are great savers. they are able to save a lot of money every paycheck, and they have grown their savings from 4 figures to 5 figures, sometimes 6 figures. They practice frugality. They know how to be frugal and how to get good value out of their purchases, and they know how to not be wasteful with money. Again, I think it is a great skill to have, a great tool for your toolkit. But the problem I see in some cases is some people save out of fear. Some people practice extreme frugality, not because it feels empowering for them, but because they have a ton of financial anxiety and live with a scarcity mindset. They think they need to hoard more and more and more money because that's the only way they'll be able to feel secure about any emergencies that happen in the future, about anything they might want to spend money on later on. So for some people, right, not everyone, but for some people, they save a lot, they're good at it, they hoard a lot of money, but then they're never able to use the money because it just fuels their anxiety even more. If someone doesn't feel secure with $50,000, they're not going to feel secure when they have $500,000. There are many cases where people feel like it could disappear in a second, or if they actually enjoy some of their money, it's going to just derail their financial life completely, which is not the case. Now, truthfully, I've been there too. I have lived paycheck to paycheck, but that was in many different scenarios. I've lived paycheck to paycheck when I was making $30,000 a year and when I was making $90,000 a year. So it wasn't just about income. It was about my mindset with money. So that's why I came to the realization that there were 2 parts that contributed to my finances, to my big wealth energy. That was having a system that empowers me and enables me to make smart financial decisions. And also, I had to build the confidence in myself and those decisions. I had to get aligned with what my financial life looked like and how I felt about it. And this is not an overnight process, but over time, this is what has shifted me from being fearful about money and saving and hoarding money out of fear versus actually feeling financially secure. Saving is one piece and it's a great start, but you have to start being more strategic with your money, when you're gonna need it, and where you should put it and invest it in the meantime before you need it. Then you have to also build your confidence that you are making the right financial decisions for yourself. So here is the good news. There are a lot of ways to go beyond saving if you want financial security. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming, especially if you're just getting started. That's why in my next video, I'm gonna walk you through a simple 3-step money system that gets you organized and on your way to feeling financially secure. I'm gonna show you exactly how to set up this simple system so that you can stop wondering if you're doing everything right and you can start feeling confident with your money. Make sure you check that video out, and until next time, peace out.